Imagine a courier. Let's call him Max. He proudly tells his friends he's his own boss. Flexible hours, working whenever you want. It sounds like a dream. But then, a day comes when everything changes forever. A cold, a fever of 101.3 degrees Fahrenheit. He can't go on shift. Immediately, a notification pops up from the app. A fine, his rating lowered. In that moment, Max realizes his freedom is merely a leash held by a soulless algorithm. We've traded stability for an illusion of control, yet we haven't become any freer. In this video, we'll uncover the invisible rules of this game. We'll show you how the digital overseer operates, a system that manages millions like Max and cares absolutely nothing about the human element. You'll learn why this system is designed to make you work more and earn less. This isn't an accident, it's mathematics. It's called algorithmic management. Compare it to a casino. It's designed so that in the long run, the house always wins. A platform's algorithm is just such a casino, where an individual worker might win on a given day, but will ultimately lose to the system over time. And most importantly, we'll reveal a shocking statistic: the percentage of independent workers who are just one step away from complete financial ruin without even realizing it. According to the J.P. Morgan Chase Institute, half of all gig economy workers experienced an income drop of over 50% within a single year. It's like driving a car whose engine could fail at any moment. The number you'll hear midway through this video will make you look at every food delivery or taxi ride differently. We've been hooked by two powerful psychological triggers. The first is gamification of labor. The app transforms work into a game. Achievements, ratings, bonuses. You're not just working, you're leveling up your account. The second is the illusion of control. The ability to tap a button and go online at any moment creates a sense of power over your life, a feeling often missing in a 9-to-5 office job. Gamification leverages the principles of the habit loop and variable reward, discovered by psychologist B.F. Skinner, the same mechanism that makes slot machines and social media so addictive. Meanwhile, the illusion of control is a well-known cognitive bias described by Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman. Now, a quick self-test, even if you don't work in the gig economy. Consider what sounds more appealing to you: the ability to choose your own working hours, or the idea that you don't have a direct boss. Your answer is the key to understanding which of these hooks would work on you. Take a second to think about it. In the first few weeks or months, the system feels ideal. Orders are plentiful, the algorithm is favorable to newcomers, and the money seems easy. This is a deliberately created honeymoon period. Platforms know that to keep someone engaged, they must first be rewarded. It's akin to a drug dealer offering the first dose for free. The platform's goal at this stage isn't to profit from you directly, but to cultivate a behavioral addiction to the app and the stream of quick money. But then, life happens. Let's return to Max. Sickness isn't just a missed day. For the algorithm, it's inefficiency. His rating drops, and a low rating means fewer orders. Fewer orders mean less money. This creates a vicious cycle. You get sick because you're overworked, but the system punishes you for being sick, forcing you to work even more to regain your rating. This is called a rating spiral, or algorithmic debt. Like financial debt, it starts small, but the interest, in the form of missed orders, accrues so rapidly that escaping it becomes nearly impossible. This is where the main deception is exposed. In traditional employment, sickness is covered by sick leave and fatigue by vacation. Here, there's nothing. You're not an employee, you're a partner. And partners don't get sick. They either generate profit for the platform or become invisible. Essentially, you're forced to choose between your health and the ability to pay next month's rent. The legal trick of partnership isn't a Silicon Valley invention. It's a digital version of piece rate work from the Industrial Revolution, when factory owners paid workers for each item produced, not for their hours. This allowed them to avoid responsibility for injuries, downtime, and working conditions. The tools have changed, but the essence of exploitation remains the same. Now let's look at this through the client's eyes. We only see a smiling courier and fast delivery. We give 5 stars, unaware that this person might be working with a fever, terrified of losing access to orders. We are unwitting participants and judges in this system. Our in-app rating isn't just a review. It's a direct influence on someone's life, on whether they can pay their bills. It's crucial to understand that for most algorithms, a 4-star rating isn't good, it's unsatisfactory. It drags the rating down. The system is built on binary logic. Either you're perfect, 5 stars, or you're a problem. We think we're giving a 4, but in reality, we're pulling a lever of punishment. Let's open the black box. The digital overseer isn't an evil genius. It's cold, calculating code with 3 objectives. First, maximum territorial coverage by partners. Second, minimal waiting time for the client. And third, maximum commission for the platform. Your well-being. That parameter isn't in the equation. It analyzes hundreds of data points: order acceptance speed, client ratings, travel time, even how often you decline unprofitable orders. Imagine you're a chess piece on a board. The algorithm is a grandmaster willing to sacrifice any pawn, meaning you, to win the game, which is to ensure ultra-fast delivery and secure profit. To it, you are not a player, but a resource. The first tool of control is surge pricing, or floating rates. During rain or rush hour, prices are higher. This seems beneficial for the worker, but in reality, it compels them to go online during the most difficult and dangerous conditions. The algorithm doesn't ask. It economically incentivizes you to risk your health and safety. This is a brilliant and cynical manipulation. It operates through the principle of fear of missing out, FOMO. The algorithm doesn't say, "Go work in the downpour." It screams at you through a notification. Right now, others are earning twice as much, and you're sitting at home losing money. It strikes at instinct, not logic. The rating is a digital collar. It creates the illusion of meritocracy. Work well, earn more, but it fails to account for context. A client gave 4 stars because they were in a bad mood. The algorithm doesn't care. Your rating drops. You were stuck in traffic through no fault of your own. The algorithm only sees long delivery time. Your rating drops. You become a hostage to subjective evaluations and random events. Research, such as that conducted by MIT, shows that algorithms can unconsciously reproduce human biases. Customers might give lower ratings to workers of a different race or with a foreign accent. The algorithm doesn't understand this. It simply sees a number and punishes the innocent, becoming a machine for discrimination. And here's what platforms don't tell you. If your rating drops or you frequently decline orders, the algorithm might not block you directly. Instead, it will simply stop showing you profitable offers. This is called a shadow ban. You're online, you're spending time, but there are almost no orders. And one day you might simply be deactivated. Without warning, without explanation, without any possibility of appeal. One click, and you're jobless. Let's call it the digital guillotine. It severs you from your income source without trial or due process. Unlike a traditional firing, there's no labor board, no union, not even a boss you can talk to. You're arguing with a server that never responds. Imagine a scale of control. On the left, complete freelancer freedom. On the right, strict factory supervision. Where does the gig economy fall? Many believe it's on the left. But in fact, due to the algorithm's total and constant control, it lands much further to the right than even traditional office work. The overseer has simply become invisible. This is akin to philosopher Jeremy Bentham's concept of the panopticon, an ideal prison where inmates don't know if a guard is watching them at any given moment, and therefore behave as if they are always being watched. The algorithm is the perfect digital panopticon. This invisible boss doesn't just control, it breaks. Next, we'll share real human stories, showcasing the consequences for mental and physical health that arise from a life in the constant chase for ratings. And these aren't just stories of poverty, they are stories of the loss of human dignity. Meet Anna, a taxi driver. To meet the platform's requirements, she took out a car loan. The first few months went well, but then the platform's commission increased, gas prices rose, and the number of orders in her area dropped. Now she works 12 hours a day just to cover her loan and expenses. She isn't earning, she's repaying a debt, using her time and health. Her business is actually working for the bank and the platform. Economists call this phantom entrepreneurship. You're given all the risks and expenses of a small business, loans, depreciation, taxes, but you don't get the main benefit, the freedom to set your own prices and choose clients. You're an entrepreneur on paper, but in reality, an employee with maximum responsibility. And this is the story of a freelance designer on a gig platform. Constant competition for projects, price dumping, the need to be online 24/7 to avoid missing an order, and the fear of a negative review that could destroy their reputation. This leads to chronic anxiety. They no longer create. They fulfill tickets in a system that squeezes every ounce of effort from them for a minimal price. Creative freedom has turned into an assembly line. This transforms a creative individual into a Sisyphus of the digital age. Every day, they are forced to push the boulder uphill, completing small, cheap orders to maintain their rating, only for the boulder to be back at the bottom the next morning, and the race begins anew. Now for the promised number. According to a 2019 Prudential report, 58% of gig economy workers would be unable to cover an unexpected $400 expense. Think about that. A flat tire or a visit to the dentist could knock someone out of the system for weeks. This means almost 6 out of 10 bosses of themselves are just one step away from disaster. Ask yourself, if your primary source of income disappeared tomorrow without explanation, how long would you last? A week? A month? This instability is the hidden price of flexibility. The system sells us freedom from a fixed schedule, but in return, it takes away our basic sense of security. This is not an equal exchange. British economist Guy Standing coined the term precariat, from the word precarious, to describe this new class of people. These are individuals deprived of basic guarantees, living in constant anxiety about the future. The gig economy is the primary driver of the precariat's growth in the 21st century. It might seem like a hopeless situation. Workers are just cogs in a massive machine that appears unstoppable. But that's not the case. All around the world, people are beginning to unite and fight back. Next, we'll tell you about the boldest and most successful instances of rebellion against the algorithm. You'll learn how couriers in one country managed to force a mega-corporation to change the rules of the game. First line of defense is unity. But how do you form a union when everyone works alone and doesn't even know each other? The answer came from the same digital environment that enslaved them: messenger chats and social media. Couriers create private groups where they share information about algorithm glitches, unprofitable zones, and organize local strikes. It's akin to guerrilla warfare. They have no headquarters or generals, but thousands of cells connected via Telegram or WhatsApp. They exchange intelligence where the algorithm has raised prices or where a shadow ban has begun, and launch targeted strikes, such as mass log-offs from the system during peak hours. And these strikes are hitting their mark. Imagine a Deliveroo driver's strike in a European city. Thousands of couriers simply switched off the app one day. The city ground to a halt. The platform lost millions, and this revealed its main vulnerability. It is entirely dependent on the very people it refuses to recognize as employees. But the most powerful blow was struck in a courtroom. In 2021, Uber drivers in the UK won a landmark case in the Supreme Court. The court ruled that they are workers, not self-employed. This granted them the right to a minimum wage and paid vacation. It was a legal David defeating a technological Goliath. This battle is ongoing worldwide, and the second front is legal. The main question courts are deciding is, are these individuals partners or employees after all? In California, the famous Assembly Bill 5, or AB 5, was passed. It forced platforms to recognize drivers as employees with full rights. In response, Uber, Lyft, and other companies spent over $200 million, a record sum, to promote Proposition 22 to overturn this law. These aren't just legal disputes. This was one of the most expensive political battles in the state's history. Now let's imagine workers win universally. For us, the clients, this would most likely mean an increase in service prices. But it would also mean that the person delivering our pizza is protected by law. We are facing a paradox of convenience. We want to receive services instantly and cheaply, but we don't want to think about the cost of that convenience for other people. A victory for workers would force us to confront the true cost of our habits. This isn't a choice between cheap and expensive. It's a choice between our comfort and someone else's basic security. And from this choice depends which of three possible futures we'll find ourselves in. Path 1. We change nothing. We choose maximum convenience and minimum price. Then we'll arrive in a world where a huge portion of the population is the precariat, people without stable work, entirely dependent on the algorithms of a few megacorporations. This is the digital feudalism scenario. There's a handful of lords, platform owners who possess digital land, meaning the app, and everyone else consists of serfs who work on this land in exchange for the right to exist, possessing no real rights or property. Path 2. We choose security. Governments worldwide introduce strict regulation. Platforms are obligated to provide all social guarantees. Flexibility is partially lost. Prices rise, but workers are protected. This is the European model. The European Union is already actively moving in this direction, developing directives that equate gig workers with employed staff. The economy becomes fairer but less dynamic. It's possible that some services we've grown accustomed to might simply disappear, as they would become unprofitable. This is the path of safety and stability, which could slow down technological innovation. A choice between security and speed. But there's also a third most interesting scenario. New types of platforms emerge that are owned by the workers themselves. Digital cooperatives. Profits are distributed among the service providers, rather than going to shareholders. They set their own rules and rates. This preserves the flexibility of the gig economy, but eliminates exploitation. This isn't fantasy. In New York, the Drivers Cooperative, a taxi service owned by its drivers, is already operating. They take a smaller commission and redistribute profits. In photography, there's the Stocksy United Cooperative. This proves that the platform cooperativism model is viable. Which of these futures will come to pass depends on the decisions made today, and not just by governments, but by each of us when we press the order button. But until that future arrives, how do you survive in the current system? In the finale, we'll provide a clear 4-step protocol to help you protect yourself. First, honestly assess what percentage of your income depends on a single platform. If it's more than 50%, you're in a risk zone. Imagine your income as an investment portfolio. Depending 100% on a single platform is like investing all your money in the stock of one highly risky company. Financial advisors call this catastrophic risk. Your task is diversification. Second, never put all your eggs in one basket. Register on 2 or 3 competing platforms. If one blocks you, you'll have a backup. This is the strategy of multi-apping. Professional gig workers use several apps simultaneously, much like traders monitor multiple markets to catch the best offer. Transform yourself from a passive executor into an active manager of your time. Third, and this isn't advice, it's a rule of survival. Create a financial reserve sufficient for 3 to 6 months of living without income. Yes, this is challenging when earnings are unstable, but every $1,000 saved is a brick in the wall of your independence. Call it your freedom fund. Its purpose isn't to buy something, but to buy the right to say no. No to an unprofitable order. No to working while sick. No to the entire platform if it deactivates you. This is your personal insurance policy. And fourth, document everything. Take screenshots of communications with support, terms of service, and earnings reports. Treat this like a pilot's pre-flight checklist. This isn't paranoia, it's professionalism. In a world where rules can change with a single app update, your personal archive is your black box that will help you understand the causes of a catastrophe. Know your rights. We've dissected this system, from illusion to harsh reality. Now the main question for you, after everything you've learned, is the gig economy truly a step towards freedom, or a ticket to a new form of servitude? Write just one word in the comments: freedom or servitude. Let's see which resonates more.